So welcome back everybody to another version of ARCA's podcast, Elevated Views. I'm your host, Kevin Kramers, and today I get to sit down with Ashley Peddie from Peddie Roofing and Waterproofing to discuss the importance of a Journeyperson and how it impacts owners. Welcome to the program, Ashley.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. It's a pleasure. Always hanging out with you.
So maybe for those who don't know you, Ashley, can you give us a little bit of an introduction, your background as you've gone down the roofing path?
I have basically a second generation background for a family-owned operated business. I was thrown on the roof when I was 13. Between school and roofing, I very much enjoyed the trade, enjoyed working on the tools, being outside. I was washing dishes for $5.10 at Moxie's at nighttime and through the weeks while I was in high school, and then weekends I went roofing. And then in the summers I went roofing because I made more money. So I pretty much blew the majority of my earnings in the first summers on dirt bikes and stereo equipment. So I didn't learn the management of money till later on in life. But it was a great trade, and I very much enjoyed it. My friends enjoyed it as well. They came along for a couple of summers and roofed as well.
So starting at an early age, what kind of aspects of working on the roof called to you? Like, what really interests you about working on the roof?
Well, I think looking back, 13 is pretty much a young age. It's too young for this day and age. I wouldn't recommend hiring a 13-year-old. But because my father was a single parent at the time, and he's like, you're going to work this summer, I had no choice. So starting out in the metal shop and then moving from the metal shop to a kettle and running the tanker and some other roofing equipment was an easier slow start. But the tasks that assigned to me were in probably the flat roof, single ply was my real desire. And back in the day, that was PVC and EPDM.
And you obviously enjoyed it enough to continue your education through the apprenticeship route.
Yeah.
As well too. Where did you take your apprenticeship training?
I basically finished high school, went to college, university. I was going into civil engineering, and it wasn't for me. I was there for 3 months, and something was calling me back to roofing. So I went back to the tools for a season, and then basically I was given an opportunity to push my own crew and then move forward to estimating and supervising and safety. So that's how I got my start in the office. But looking forward, I very much support industry training for all businesses, not just for a growth business model, but also for a liability protection model, and also just for quality installations for your customers. Training and necessary apprenticeship enrollment for your employees to backfill those positions, I think, is crucial for the future.
So right now, the big discussions in and around Alberta and even larger in Canada are the trades, and we don't have enough people in the trades working in construction. And being a roofing contractor owner, being responsible for quite a few people, how do you see the importance of going through the training? And I know not everybody is set to go to school, and not everybody is made to go through that education route. And I've seen on the roof some people that have 40 years under their belt, and they are invaluable when it comes to the skills that they have. Yeah. But when you're talking to building owners and when you're talking to property managers, are they looking for those more educated crews, the safer crews, and the crews that have a lot of that training?
I agree with some of your comments. You could have a 40-year veteran that can do a very good job. And he could do a good job at anything, at any task, whether you're a hairstylist to a roofer. But in our industry, unfortunately, we are dealing with building envelope installations. So we have a couple of restricted covenants or restricted items that are highlighted to our industry that owners are most certainly looking for trained workers to execute their tasks for a number of reasons, whether if it's safety, whether it's for quality workmanship, whether if it's the degree of the work, whether if it's on a high rise or downtown or a commercial building. You definitely need to know what you're doing. But in specifications are requiring a set journeyman ratio from various inspector groups. They want a set number of trained workers and personnel on their job sites. Sometimes the owners will request that as well. It is debatable what is trained competency on the roof versus training in a classroom setting. And I am an advocate for full apprenticeship training to basically balance out the requirements to meet those bids and those tenders at time of closings. But it is a mandatory item, I think, in any business model is to continually train your workers to always keep up with the new technologies and always keep up with the new requirements that inspectors are requiring us to complete.
At the ARCA, as you're well aware, we really support the apprenticeship model. We really support continual education. And I know you've been really involved with a lot of the apprenticeship discussions at a government level. And you've been able to see like the wide variety, both provincially and federally, how the Alberta roofing program stacks up against others. So I guess two questions come from that. How do you see roofing as a trade across Canada? Do you think Alberta is a step above the others when it comes to the provincial apprenticeship? There is talk about harmonizing the trades across Canada. What is your view on that?
Well, not to be biased, born and raised in Calgary, I believe there's a lot of talent in this province. We have to respect the consultants and designers and roof observers that are pushing the boundaries of design and also requirements. They're wanting and expecting high quality installations, which is fantastic. But there's a couple of ways to measure our training excellence in this province, and one was through apprenticeship, the old PAC model, where the employers and employee representatives on PAC met and they went through the course criteria for our provincial period 1, 2, and 3 exams versus the rest of the province exams. And our exams and course outline and content scored quite high. We covered the most content. So to me, that is the largest coverage of training, I believe, nationwide was in Alberta. Second item to note is our pass to fail ratio. We have a very high pass ratio and a high journeyman red seal certificate ratio as well, provincially versus other additional provinces. Now, we're not here to debate who has the best program. You're just asking how strong is it or how do we rate? In my opinion, we rate very high. We did have the largest credible hours required to obtain the 4th year, and I believe through the harmonization they did take those requirements away from us to blend us with the rest of the nation. But overall, our curriculum and course content scored very high against the nation, which I think it's something to be proud of for the previous PAC committee members that have been on the committee for so many years to help design the course outline.
Now, some people that aren't in the construction industry that might be listening, they might be a little bit confused. Can you explain what is the difference if I become a Journeyperson in Alberta or if I have a red seal? Those are two kind of terms that people sometimes aren't totally aware of their meanings.
Well, really a Journeyperson technically is a sponsored candidate from any trade that is sponsored from their employer to enter into an apprenticeship training program for period 1, 2, or 3 to obtain a journeyman or Journeyperson's ticket. And that ticket is basically deeming that worker that they're qualified to complete their tasks in their industry. Red Seal is obviously a higher level of education where it's a higher level of standard. They can challenge the exam, and then utilize that certificate to go interprovincially amongst the other provinces.
So that's a huge benefit, I would say, in a country like Canada, so you can move quite freely between the provinces and have that accreditation, where
Yes.
with a lot of other professions, you can't, which is fantastic. If you were talking to someone that was looking to get into the roofing industry and to start out down the apprenticeship route to get their Journeypersons, or even just working on the roof for a set period of time, what kind of opportunities would you say they have in front of them?
I think it's very promising, and that's a fantastic question. We're always advocating to our kids' friends and our nephews and anybody we can spread the word, get into the trades. Not to say becoming an engineer or becoming a business graduate or becoming a doctor is not important. No, absolutely. All of those skill sets are needed in the world today to keep the world turning. But moving forward, the roofing industry has many positions to backfill moving forward, but not just backfill, also growth. We're seeing new technologies being introduced, whether they're through membranes or attachment methods or pieces of equipment. Well, we need bodies to learn those technologies, and we need bodies to manage those technologies. Not to say the old school roofers are not learning. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying we're trying to add people, whether it's adding folks to our industry who know how to operate zoom booms and crane equipment, whether if it's adding folks to our industry that specialize in metals and cladding technologies. Our industry is growing with more and more products being thrown at us, and we're just being asked, install it. So, but just to become a worker is not the end of the road. It's a starting step, or basically a growth stage in their career. They could join an accredited roofing company and make an excellent wage in the first 1 or 2 years if you show up for work. You show some interest, ask some questions, complete your apprenticeship training, and you're making 100 to 150,000 minimum wage in our industry, and that's not it. From there, you can move into a sales role or an estimating role, or maybe a managerial role in a commercial contracting firm, or there's other avenues. You can go into a sales tech rep role or a roof observer role, or there's so many paths forward that are just limitless for a roofer to excel in their career, a manufacturer role. So in all fairness, I think roofing is an excellent trade to pay the bills, but it is not the last career choice. The career path is open to many opportunities.
And even that's one thing that's really surprised me being involved in the industry is it is a small world, and we do see people that move from a contractor role maybe to a manufacturing role, but then we also see a lot of growth in companies themselves.
Yes.
So as you get a little older and your body gets a little tired, it's not the end of the road. There's always things that can build upon, like you say, going into the office and more senior roles in estimating or project management or possibly even into the ownership. One thing that has struck me talking to a lot of people, including people that are on your crews and other members' crews, is the camaraderie and the team environment that they have on the roof. Mm-hmm. That is something that is not found in a lot of other trades.
No, it's a special industry, I feel. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of talent in this province. There's some really talented designers and roof observers that have seen it all, but they're first to admit they're still learning. But we have some great people. We have a great organization, great staff at ARCA that help continually teach its members. There's some great contractors. If you have the privilege to be an association member, you basically take the privilege in networking and learning upon the new designs, new systems, new building codes, and the new requirements to be a successful contractor in this province. But the camaraderie for people is basically number one for your business. It's managing people. And if you manage your people correctly, you train your people, you equip them with the right equipment and training, that helps with retainage, your business will be successful, and hopefully the numbers will be there. If you're just focusing on the numbers, but you don't have the correct equipment, you don't have the correct employees, you don't have the correct experience and training, the numbers won't be there. As much as you want to yell and scream, they won't be there. So to complete an excellent installation, you need to learn to work with your consultants, work with the designers, work with the manufacturers, and work with the association in conjunction, moving forward as one, to never forget educating and equipping our workers is very important, because they're on the front lines. We can bid all we want in the office, but the roofs have to be installed.
Some great words of wisdom. I guess one of the last questions I have, where would you see roofing in the next 10 to 15 years as we continually expand the population base and as Alberta continues to grow? Do you see there always being that requirement and that need for more and more people to be in the roofing industry or even in the broader construction industry?
I believe so. We're hearing comments from suppliers and manufacturers that it's hard to find good people. We're hearing comments from contractors, it's hard to find good people. We're hearing comments from designers and architectural firms, it's hard to find good people. That's why they're hiring abroad and bringing them over. And I support all aspects of hiring within and also hiring external. If they're a good candidate that are trainable, that want to learn, they have the right attitude, they can be successful, they have the desire to push the boundaries and excel in their life, they're a good candidate. In my opinion, though, there's still hope in our province because we do have an apprenticeship program. If you are wanting to enter the trade, learn all aspects of roofing, whether if it's architectural metals on a vertical or horizontal surface, whether if it's membranes and sealant replacements or PMMA and liquid and aphylitic urethanes. There's so many aspects to our trades. It's just not shingles and a hammer. You could take any path forward from there and choose your ultimate destiny for a career up to retirement. I believe there's hope because everybody is trying to backfill positions. And in our group, in our office, if you're willing to put your hand up and go to school, we'll send you. Because we 100% agree and stress the importance of training. And there's nothing that makes me more proud to have a worker come back, female or male. Everybody has a place in this industry, but have a worker come back and say, can I have an extra $2 because I passed my period exam? Absolutely. Because that means that they will be bringing somebody else along on their crew. You know the saying, when somebody's helped you, you got to help another. So that's what keeps companies moving forward, is having trainable crews that are constantly backfilling those workers. As the stronger the crew is, the more production you can get out of that crew. So why wouldn't you train your workers?
You're in the midst of a very successful career right now. If you look back and if you could talk to the 16-year-old Ashley, would you do anything differently?
Well, I probably wouldn't blow my summer months hauling hot packers on clothes, music, and unnecessary equipment that's probably in the trash right now. I probably would have saved 50% of my earnings that any 16-year-old should do. But moving forward, I think it's important to complete your high school. Definitely. That's the bare minimum. And then secondly, go on an adventure, try a few things, fail big. I tried a small flooring company on the side. I installed floors to help pay for college, and that went well, but I just didn't enjoy it. Didn't enjoy doing hardwood on the indoors during winter months, and just wasn't for me, but it paid the bills. Went traveling for a year. That was excellent. Get it out of your system, go travel. And then thirdly, would I ever change anything different? We can always improve. We can always take more courses, more education. But personally, I'm very thankful for the opportunity I've had. It's not easy as a second generation owner. The guys, they look at you different. When you put your boots on for the day, they don't want to be around you because you're the boss's son. When you walk up on that roof, they don't want you on the roof because you're the boss's son. When you stop for coffee break, they don't want you there because they don't want you to see what they're having for their lunch or what they're doing. Or when you're out of town, on an out-of-town job, they don't want you there. So I had to push to learn the ways of roofing the hard way, which is a lot of people wanted to see you fail, so they didn't have you on their crews. But basically, I woke up every morning and said, I'm going to work harder than that guy as I need to earn their respect. So eventually, over time, you will learn your crew's respect, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't feel being a second generation owner and not having to work in the field is an effective way to learn management skills. You need to learn how the field operates if you want to manage the field. So that's my opinion. Moving forward, is there other industries? Is there other careers that enticed me? Well, I think everybody's had a few different career options in their teenager years. But I love the industry. I love the people. I think it's a privilege to meet with a wide variety of demographics, whether they're building owners who have 200 buildings, to a roof inspector or observer that's going to teach and show you something new for that day, whether if it's walking into the association, learning something new. In all fairness, I love the industry because I'm learning every day.
One, I think that's the biggest takeaway that all of us can take is learning every day makes it a challenge every day.
Yes.
If you never stop learning, you always want to go back for the next day and the next day. Perfect. Well, Ashley, I really appreciate you stopping by today, taking the time to have this conversation with us. I'm sure those who listen to it will take some important facts out of it, and hopefully they may even look at it a little differently the next time they pass by a building and see the roofing crew on top and what they're doing, and it might entice them to be included and become part of the trade itself.
Well, it's an excellent trade where the guys can make a lot of money, and if they show up for work on time, they can do very well in life. And I think it's more importantly, we have to show respect to the folks who are continually trying to learn and trying to do better. And we have to show respect to all parties who help furnish these projects, right from the suppliers who are shipping the material, right from the sea cans to the crane operators to the roofers installing it to the roof observers that are observing it and designing the buildings. We have to basically show respect and work together in a harmonious fashion to install these products in an orderly fashion. So it's exciting to see the new designs and new technologies coming our way to North America, and exciting to see the design community pushing the boundaries on what can be done on these buildings, because there isn't one building that looks the same. So it's always making our day a new day and a fresh day outlook, because we're always shaking hands with somebody new. So we welcome training, and we certainly most encourage the youth today to step into the trades and go to work right away. You're not coming out of university with a $300,000 debt and can't find a job. It's an actual trade that you can actually earn a living while you're going to school. So it's an exciting trade with multiple career paths. So thanks for your time, Kevin. It's a lot of fun hanging out with you.
Perfect. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
Take care.